How's everybody going? Gladiator Strong, June 2018. Q&A. It's clean. Took my son with me. First time for him to experience such a trip. And did work with the Spartan Up podcast. Did some work with their, their higher level challenges, which was their Spartan Agogi race, which is a 60-hour challenge. And also did a little bit of stuff with the Spartan Wrestling Camp. And now let's get to the questions, the Q&A, our private podcast. And also heads up here and there, guys, when I upload a program, sometimes if I hit a different button, it might mix the sets and reps and turn it into time. And that's what happened this morning or for this week's workout for day one, Monday. So if anything like that happens and I didn't catch it, feel free to give me a holler on the forum because I get those notices. And that's it. Let's get to these questions. We've got some great questions. And number one comes from my man Nelson. He says, what are the major changes you make, if any at all, when programming training for in-season athletes versus off-season? Also, do you use any specific indicator exercises to give you a baseline to track the progress of your athletes? And if so, do you ever have them retest those movements? So great question. Number one, there's definitely a change from in-season and off-season. Now, let me explain the two different scenarios I've been in. We've got the college setting where I see the kids year-round, except for there's the time where spring semester ends up until the fall semester, so about 4 months, mid-May to June, July, August. Yeah, about 3.5, 4 months. That's called optional. They don't have to show up. They could stay home and eat ring dings and play video games if they want to. Now, the best athletes show up during that optional period. Other than that, I'm training them off-season and in-season. The difference between that and the independent sector, such as the underground strength gym, is athletes could come and go. They may or may not train during the season. So at the college level, the in-season athletes tend to train twice a week, here and there once a week. That's a little bit individual. Then we've got at the underground strength gym, the majority of them go with our in-season protocol, which is once a week. The reason why I did that was because most of them dropped out altogether. So many, many moons ago, I created the in-season once-a-week program. I always say once a week is 100% more than zero. Now, a very, very, very small select few train more than once a week in season. If this was my son, he would train 2 to 3 times a week in season, short workouts, about 25 minutes. That's just the way I would train him. You know, you have parents who, I'm too busy, they're running around, or the kid says, I've got too much homework, which really is never our best athletes. Our best athletes train year round. Now let's get into the different portions of the season or of the year-long training program. You have the immediate off season, right after the season. Usually, whatever the sport is, I'll tell the kids to take a week off. Then we come back and we do 4 to 6 weeks of bodybuilding work, low intensity, spinal loading. So if I'm squatting or deadlifting, it's a trap bar. If I'm squatting, it's lighter. It's a 5x5 at like 50 to 60, maybe 70%. And after 4 to 6 weeks of incorporating some repetition work with bodybuilding, some low stress so they're not getting psyched up for a heavy lift, getting back some quality calories, that's the immediate off-season bodybuilding time. Then we have that deeper off-season where we could really work very similar to what we're doing with the Gladiator Strong program, except you don't see that kind of movement prep warm-up, which is extremely crucial. So at the college setting, I'll do gymnastics and plyometrics and a lot of med ball throwing during the warm-up, about 15 minutes. Then I'm in the weight room with them and I do kettlebell carries, abs, band pull-aparts, calisthenics, dumbbell work, kettlebells, just like what you guys do, but a little bit more volume. Then we do the workout at a very fast pace. Then we have the preseason leading up in college. That's when I start to intensify things because I need to prepare them mentally and physically for what the coaches are going to be doing to them during practice. The coaches are not like, oh, is this optimal? Is this periodized? No, they start attacking these guys right away. It happens with football, wrestling, and probably baseball. With my high school and middle school athletes, pretty much the same. Middle school doesn't get, the spinal loading that the high school and collegiate athletes get. And then we have the in season, which I'm going to do. It changes. When I was at Lehigh, I trained them Monday, Wednesday. When I was at Rutgers, I was training them Tuesday, Wednesday in season, because in the Big Ten, they competed on Friday and Sunday. Monday was a mandatory off day for academics. Sometimes they were flying home on a Monday morning. And then because we competed on Fridays, we did not want to lift on Thursdays. Tuesday, Wednesday was tricky. So I did Tuesday a heavier push day. So squatting, deadlifting, upper body pushing. Wednesday was a dynamic effort, speed, full body day, pulling, plyometric pushing, lighter weight. If I am deadlifting, that might be considered a pull, but a speed day. So heavy Tuesday, speed, explosive work Wednesday. So the time to do the volume of work, the intensity of work is the deeper off season. I want you guys to go and check out some old workouts of the month. Go back to 2012 to 2010. Go back and see, football gladiators, gridiron gladiators, the Dr. Ken videos. That is some crazy shit that is reserved for off-season training, and that stuff's inside the Underground Strength Academy, undergroundstrengthcoach.com. Sorry, guys, got these automatic updates popping. So go to see the workout of the month way back in the day from the Underground Strength Gym. All that stuff's in the undergroundstrengthcoach.com website. So any specific indicator exercises? Not really, because we are not weightlifters or powerlifters, although my indicator is how they perform, how they compete. And number two, how do they move in the weight room and on the wrestling mat during our gymnastics portion? Am I seeing explosiveness, high energy? If not, I update and increase my communication with the coaches and get an even deeper detail of what's going on in practice. And of course, in the college setting, I'm at every match, so I could see them compete and I could see what they're weak at. That's the ultimate, coaching communication, where you're in the practice room and you're on the field or the court or the wrestling mat while they compete. At the high school level, I'm getting feedback from the kids each time they come in. The assessment is always during the warm-up and during the whole workout. I had a guy come in and say, how are you going to assess me? I said, I'm going to assess you during your warm-up, during every exercise and every workout. I'm assessing you now as you're talking to me, telling me that your shoulder hurts during pull-aparts, but it doesn't hurt during face pulls. So I am constantly assessing, and the energy levels let me know how intense we should train or not train. The stuff that always works are the basics. The squats, the cleans, the deadlifts, the sandbag work, the calisthenics, it always works. And then communicating with the athletes at the college level, some of them who've been competing for a while and training for a while, they'll tell me, Zach, they'll say something like, I feel like I need to get more explosive. For them, it's more of a mental thing. So I'll do speed work with their squatting and deadlifting, but they might feel good doing heavy max effort work for upper body. So there's a lot of individualizing, and that's why I like to give a lot of flexibility with the programming for you guys as well. So you might be feeling run down, but you still want to train, then don't do it heavy. Go speed and dynamic effort work. And do I ever retest them? In the summertime, I did like a full, I think it was like a 3-day challenge of all different kinds of, strength and aerobic and anaerobic tests. So we had like a running test, which was, I think it took everybody somewhere in that 4-minute range, a little bit less or a little bit more. So it was probably about a 2/3 mile run test. We did body weight. I did a bench press repetition test. So I think I used the weight class that they weighed and did that. We did a rising bar sumo deadlift, so absolute strength. We did a timed tire flip for something like 5 reps. We did an airdyne bike test, 2 miles for time. We did bodyweight pull-ups for reps. I did a medley where they had to get 3 different heavy sandballs, run to the end of the mat, bring it back. So I think we used like 80. No, I think we went 60, 80, 100. What else have I done? Trying to think of some of the other tests. I did did the pull-up test. So I've done those tests, and some of the stronger guys are not the best wrestlers. And it's going to be that way for every sport. Sometimes the strongest person in the weight room is just a meathead. They love to work out, but they may not love the sport as much. They're not the best competitor. So there's a lot of unique things kind of up in the air about what makes somebody great or not. And the weight room is not always a direct indicator of how they will perform in sports. And tracking progress, I track all the time. So at my gym, we use Wodify. At the college level, you have to track for liability reasons. In case something happens to somebody, you could always say, hey, here's the volume of work we're doing. Here's what we did. Coach said to me that the kids were saying that their lower back is killing them. I said, Coach, we did 5 sets of 2 deadlifting, and we worked up to like 50% of their 1 rep max. And the first 2 sets were a warm-up, so we only did 3 sets of 2 of speed work. And I said they also never lowered the bar. They let go of it from the top, so there's no eccentric. So I was able to back my training and back myself up on what we're doing. And then I made modifications because mentally and emotionally at that point in time, those wrestlers were a bit broken down. So we use, some colleges are using Train Heroic. I'm a bigger fan of recording through software because you can save it and have it forever. Whereas paper, it becomes a pain in the butt to look through, and it's really just a headache and a hassle. It's not a benefit. Next question comes from Paul Middleton. He says, coaching your older high school athletes for, let's say, 2 sports, following a general program, for example, not really position specific, what would you place more emphasis on, speed and power or strength? Remembering that both are important, but what would you pick as the main focus? Sport number 1, wrestling. Sport number 2, football. At the high school level, you could probably get away with, if you're focused on strength, they will get more explosive. But here's the thing. I never just do a strength workout. Our warm-up, even in season, incorporates throwing medicine balls and various jumping. I also emphasize to them that if they want to perform explosively and to be fast, which is crucial in sports, I tell them that you guys have to be, you have to practice your sports skills fast and explosive. So many of them don't apply what they've done in the weight room or the gym or whatever you want to call it into sports. So I'm not going to say you want to choose one. You've got to choose both. Let me back up that question. And that's going back to what I said about the college athletes. Some of my strongest lifters, they were like slow on the mat, and they did all the jump training. They did the med ball work. And you want to know what that was? A psychological issue. It was kind of a mental thing. Louis Simmons talks about willing yourself to be explosive, willing yourself to be fast. So if I feel like I have a wrestler that's a bit like kind of like a sluggish, chill guy, I need him to do more explosive, more speed work. And more often than not, some of those are the bigger guys. So you need to do both. And you could do that with the contrast method, which we do, a heavy lift followed by a jump, or a speed exercise followed by heavy. So contrast might be heavy floor press for 3, drop to the floor, 3 clapping push-ups. It might be heavy dumbbell snatch followed by 3 hurdle jumps. It could be deadlifts followed by jumps. So there's a lot of ways to do the contrast method, but I'm not going to ever say just get strong or just get fast. Because to get fast, you need to get strong. And to get stronger, you need to get more explosive. You need more speed. So, Paul, that's what I'm saying about that, brother. Patrick Kipax. Hey, Zach, I'm in the process of setting up a website for my small garage gym business, and I was wondering if you have any suggestions, tips, as far as content or design. I've heard a lot of people talk to me about Squarespace being very easy to set up. I think a website is not as important as it used to be. So I'm going to encourage you to have Instagram, Facebook, and we're probably setting up a Yelp page for our underground strength gym for people to leave reviews and whatnot, and also for finding locations. And Instagram is going to be important. Have your email. Don't be afraid to put a phone number there. Encourage people to DM you and use Squarespace. Have an About Us page. It's up to you if you want to include your prices or not. I include the prices near the bottom of all the information. Number two, the second thing, super important, is to have a success stories or testimonials page. Have a lot of video and before and after photos of your success stories. To me, that's the best marketing to demonstrate great results, because everybody's out there saying how great they are, how awesome they are. But in a garage, people might say, wow, Patrick is an amateur. He's in his garage. But if you could demonstrate your amazing results, then they won't give a shit that you're in a garage. Okay. So make it super simple. A contact us page, about us, a lot of benefits. I'm going to see if there's any books here that I would recommend for you to do or to incorporate for your business. And I have so many. You know what I would recommend for you to do? Get one of my business courses. Spectrum is great. And of course, Operation Thunder, the Warehouse Gym Project. And I'm going to recommend also that you get Dan Kennedy's. Let's see where I've got his books. Dan Kennedy. Just get his No BS books. Buy them used on Amazon. I've got so many of them. But I'd say Dan Kennedy, No BS books. Wealth Attraction is a big one. And I'm looking up to see if I've got anything floating around. They're everywhere. And go on YouTube and type in Dan Kennedy Marketing and see if you could find any of his old videos. Okay? I think you will love them, Patrick. So there you go, brother. I already answered Nelson's question. I answered Paul. I answered Patrick. Okay, guys, that's all the questions that we got. 3 questions. That's a little bit soft. How could you guys not ask more questions? To me, that's what learning is about. Be an aggressive learner. I want you guys to get more involved with dropping questions because I want to help you beyond the workouts, beyond the training. So let's step this up. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Gladiator Strong here on Train Heroic. Go to undergroundstrengthcoach.com. I want you guys to get inside the Underground Strength Academy and take advantage of all the information in there as well. Peace out, guys. Much respect.